right, our next story follows an expose by an online newspaper, Premium Times specifically, in which it claimed that anti-corruption agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), has launched mass probes of governors and their deputies. Now, the paper further claims, was sequel to a memo signaling a broad range of investigations of most of Nigeria's serving governors and their deputies, many of whom will leave office and lose constitutional immunity from prosecution in a few days. No fewer than 28 governors and their deputies are said to be on the watch list. At least 18 of the governors with their deputies targeted for investigation by EFCC are preparing to leave office when they will complete their second terms in office on May 29. Now, one is leaving office on the same date after completing a term, while 10 others 10 others who recently won their second term elections are expected to remain in office for the next 4 years. Now, details of the cases the EFCC has against the officials are not immediately clear, but the commission said in a letter addressed to the chairperson of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Mohammed Issa, that it needs the asset declaration documents of some governors to facilitate an ongoing investigation involving them. So, we have kept Barrister Evans Ufeli with us in the studio. Thank you for obliging and staying with us longer. Now, for a long time, the EFCC has seemed to be inactive. For a long time. In fact, we've had issues between some governors, Matawali now, and the EFCC saying, "Oh, the EFCC chairman asked me to bribe him." We've had that going back and forth, so it almost felt like EFCC wasn't even powerful anymore. Now, with this statement made by the EFCC, can we say now the EFCC is exercising its powers?
Well, I don't think the statement is unnecessary. I mean, why put the outgoing governors on notice that you are going to come after them? Why put them on notice? You're not supposed to put them on notice. I mean, we saw what happened in Anambra State not too long ago when the outgoing governor, the same day he handed over power to the incoming, the next day he was on a flight to the US and he was intercepted at the airport by the EFCC. Okay. So many of these governors may have such plans because some of them who have been under investigation before now but could not be prosecuted or arrested because of immunity in Section 308 of the Constitution now have been put on notice that this is what these people want to do. Some of them may go through road and go through some road border out of the place. You don't put them on notice. You see, because it's a security issue. So you're just supposed to, they should know better. I can't teach them the job, but what I think is what I'm saying. Because you are now telling the enemy that this is what you want.
I'm coming for you.
So it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense. In that case,
that's what it seems like. Run, I'm coming for you.
These are governors that like building bridges and airports, things that the citizens don't need. And they like doing these things because that is the only way they can steal. They can get kickback from contractors and all that, and all the things they do, and all the corruption and all that. So we know that many of them have skeletons in their cupboard. We know that. So the EFCC should go down to work. Their asset declaration, you know where to source it from. Why tell us again? Why publish about it? You know where to get it. Now, tracing properties that belong to them and funds that have gone through them, you know how to do that. You have all the equipment to do that. So why tell us? That's what I'm saying. They should just go after them one after the other and then do exactly what they want to do. That is what I think.
All right, then. We also know that some governors have, gone into bringing up monies. Like one good example is the governor of Delta State, Okowa, in a supplementary budget of 71 billion naira, that he has asked for. Meanwhile, he has less than a week in office. Will these things be probed? Do you see this as some of the things that will be probed?
Yeah, because what the governor of Delta State is doing is not different from what Buhari is doing, and it's very unfortunate. this is a man who had, loans after loan. You understand? Just because he has a vice presidential ambition, he has strangled the state. He has taken the state to a level where you can no longer understand what exactly he's doing. And because the current Speaker of the House is a stooge to him, someone whom has also won the governorship election, who is now the governor-elect of the state, approval for this kind of funds is an express call. There is no debate there because at the parliament at the state, it's more like an appendage of the governor. None of them have capacity to disobey or argue or reject or refuse or even oversight the executive at the state level. It's even at the National Assembly you have a little drama. At the state level, apart from the early days of the Fourth Republic, when we returned newly to democracy, when in states you find legislators, coming together to even impeach a governor. Today, we don't have such. So, I mean, even the oversight to function and all that, they don't really do much of it. If not, we should be asking questions in Delta State. Why should you be asking for this amount of money at this time of the of your tenureship? What is it meant for? They have given a lot of excuse of how the money is required, how they have to approve it, how it must be spent, and when they are doing this, they keep figuring the people into whatever it is. You begin to ask yourself, when did they wake up from their slumber now and now discover that the people are now very necessary? Just like we should ask, when did Buhari now wake up and now discover that the state should pay, government should pay debt and all that? So those are questions.
All right then.
Okay, sir, but the motive, is it not the right cause? Is that not the way the process should be?
The what?
The motive, the process for the EFCC to begin this investigation, is that not the right way it's supposed to be?
No,
in as much as there have been some allegations against the EFCC boss concerning the fact that he has been responsible for asking for monies if some of the state governors do not want to be investigated.
Well, before you respond to that, let's acknowledge the guests that we have that have joined us virtually. Sam Ibemere, a journalist, and Kunle Falowo are both online with us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, glad to be here.
All right, good to have you join us. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, the motive, you see, the issue is that the EFCC boss, allegations have been leveled against him, okay? Now, the principle of law is that he that alleges must prove. Matawale should go beyond that allegation. He should
And
go
prove.
further, yes. He should go further and then call for his investigation and whatever.
Let me, sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask Sam now. Good morning to you, Sam. Now,
Good morning.
I want to be sure that you're well abreast of the topic. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you straight now. The EFCC chairman has some allegations against him of being involved in fraudulent activities. Do you think that, before we start hearing of EFCC going after governors that have done wrong, shouldn't the chairman be investigated as well? And who should do that?
That's an interesting scenario. But I think one thing that we must admit is that Nigeria is an active crime scene. Every minute, every second, you have all manner of criminal activities going on, especially between and among the leadership. So the story about the current ES teacher, being embroiled in bribery allegation, don't come completely strange. Corruption is very endemic in our country, and it's really very unfortunate. He wouldn't be the first, to be so named. But again, these are mere allegations, and it's been said in some quarters that the allegation has come up because Matawele has been put, on the chopping block, and so he has to fight back. Some would say that this is corruption trying to fight back. In Nigeria, anything is just possible. Corruption is endemic. In an ideal environment, once authority is fingered, to have been involved in graft, the natural thing, where values are upheld, would have been for him to say, okay, let me step aside and let an independent investigation, comment. Sadly, it doesn't happen in an environment, and that's because those who have found a certain authority have people who are propping them. It will be shocking if Bauer, who is the current EFCC chairman, wakes up and says, okay, because of the allegations that were made, against me or levied against me, let me step aside. I doubt if that will ever happen.
Happening.
But again, we'll continue to ask that values be upheld. You ask who is going to put him to trial. Pretty difficult question. Okay, but I think that I believe that we've got a judicial process. Anyone who thinks there is a case to prove, their ideal thing would be to then commence a media trial to go to court, and I think that's the only way we can build our institutions. So if Matawale is very confident, is very sure of the allegations that he has made, the next best thing to do would be to approach the courts. That would be my expectation. But
All right. So
because
okay.
you have our institutions all totally corrupted. Okay, Nigeria is the one country where the man who has been asked to preside over, keep watch over our fund is himself stealing from the till. Clear cases all over the place, and it's really sad. It's endemic, and we need a total overhaul, and we've got to allow our institutions to work. But sadly, you have a political class that are very deliberate about the way they structure these things because they want these things to work in their favor. There are a whole lot of examples to cite. If time permits, all right. I've just started the case of the accountant general who is supposed to watch over our money. Is himself caught stealing? The same EFCC told us they recovered over 30 billion from him. The entire case involves over 100 billion. That's the man who is supposed to keep watch over our money. You have governors who have been through the judicial process, who have been convicted. You understand? And what they get is a on the wrist. So how do you justify, how do you begin to build confidence, about reinventing our country? Because we don't have, example, case of people who have stolen from our common field. You have the case of Daria, you have the case of Johnny Nyame, who got convicted, and Mr. President, after a few months, granted them pardon. How can a society work that way? We're just sick, and that's why those of us who are on this other side of it, and society, will have to continue to speak up on these things. We can't progress, we can't develop as a society if we allow our institutions to fail. Nigeria is not lacking in anti-graft bodies that can help us fight, but these things have been so skewed in a way that those who have put them up, are themselves corrupting the entire system. It's a sad case, really.
All right then. Thank you very
So my
much.
take would be that for Matawale in this instance, if he's very sure of his have levied against the EFCC chairman, he should approach the court. If he doesn't, that makes him a coward. That means his claim is empty. All right.
All right.
And so it's very blackmail all over the place because people just want to survive.
Okay. Now, to Kunle Falowo now, our guest in-house did say that the EFCC did not need to announce that. Look, it's going to go after these people. There was no need to make that announcement. Just go after them. Now, I'm just thinking, could this be a psychological game where you tell the person that, look, I'm coming after you, and then when they start to make to run, you now pick them one by one. You could play that kind of psychological game, to make them run. So people know that yes, okay, this one is running, that one is trying to bail because these people are guilty. Exactly. What do you make of that?
So I feel like the entire situation is very sad when you hear about uh, political office holders siphoning collective um, treasury of the society. It's really, really sad. You begin to wonder where these people come from and who raised them. When you hear about cases like this, it is not very it's not sane because the amount of money uh, loots in the national treasury is just alarming. Uh, and back to your question, when you look at the way the anti-graft agency are going about their duties, uh, one of the issues that I have with the entire setting up of the organizations, first, what happens to the money recovered, you know, after all the investigations are done, and also if you look at the way that they carry out the entire operation, you would see that sometimes it's questionable. And case study is just what you just mentioned about informing uh, those that you're investigating potentially that you're coming for them. I would suspect that it's enshrined in their own constitution that you inform wherever it is that you're investigating. That would be logical, but also because of the due to the how terrible and how despicable our politicians carry out these nefarious activities, should they duly informed? It's just like me telling somebody to, I'm coming for you, and then technically what you're saying is tidy up your house because I'm going to come and investigate you. So that gives them enough opportunity to begin to, you know, dot their I's and kind of see if they could, protect themselves and get away with the potential crime. Also, the immunity clause in the Constitution is shielding politicians from getting investigated when those crimes are going on. When a crime is potentially going on for so long, unbothered, uninvestigated, high probability that they will get away with it because it's been so many years. 4 years is not a joke. And then when you have the immunity clause protecting and kind of defending them in the meantime, it just gives them opportunity to tidy up their house and potentially get away with a lot of. And how can a society grow when you have that kind of setup? It's very questionable. Questionable is very disheartening, and we just need to do better. I think we know better than that. We have too many brains and too many bright minds in Nigeria, but it's just bad and sad that this is happening to us.
All right, I must say a very big thank you to gentlemen. Thank you for coming on the program. Sam Ibemere and Kunle Falowo, thank you very much for joining us virtually. And big thanks to you as well, Barrister Evans Ufeli, for staying put with us. We do appreciate. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into business and entertainment. Stay with us.